Back to the daily grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Make sure you bring your boys, Connor. TJ Dillashaw is using the Paulie Malignaggi defense in response to Cody Garbrandt dropping the sparring tape, knocking out TJ Dillashaw, or should we say knocking down TJ Dillashaw in sparring. He's saying release the full tape. If you continue the tape, if you didn't just play that fucking 5-second clip, you would have seen I got up and we kept sparring. It's not the knockout you've been saying you had. I mean, leading up to the fight, for the longest time, Cody Garbrandt was saying he had a video knocking out TJ in sparring. Now, you can say what you want. Oh, you know, in a real fight, he could have jumped on him and continued the ground and pound or whatever the fuck you want. But that's not what happened. This wasn't a real fight. It was sparring. There was headgear, and you didn't even see what happened. We didn't even get to see if he was wobbled. We didn't even get to see TJ stand up and see if he was fucking, on shaky legs or anything. The clip stopped as soon as he dropped. You didn't even see him fall back. I mean, he could have got right up. We don't know. And TJ Dillashaw saying that's what happened if you release the full tape. So, will they release the full tape? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, they have the full tape. You've got to ask, why did they cut it off right there? I mean, for sure the fucking security camera tape didn't stop right there. So whoever released the video, it had to have been edited by somebody. And I wonder why. If it was a clear knockout, if it was a clean knockout, I mean, you control the tape. You should have showed him stumbling or something. So I tend to leave TJ Dillashaw here, and as I was saying, leading before the video was knocked out, or before the video was put out, released, they were saying like I was led to believe it was a clean knockout in sparring. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, some of you guys have pointed out that on the Joe Rogan podcast, Cody Garbrandt and Uriah Faber said it was a knockdown. Well, that's changing the tone a little bit from the previous accusations. If you go back before the Joe Rogan podcast, you'll see a lot of knockout. Even in the fight press conference at UFC 217 yesterday, he used the phrase knockout. So, I mean, you can nitpick or what you want, but TJ Dillashaw saying release the full tape, and I do want to see the full tape in this scenario. Now, in the Paulie Malignaggi Conor McGregor scenario, I seen enough. I don't really give a fuck about the full sparring because you guys aren't actually going to fight. You know, if you guys were going to box, maybe we can talk about it. But you were just a fucking sparring partner that came out opening your mouth about what's happening in sparring, and so Conor had to put out the tape. And so that's what happened. In this scenario, these guys are actually fighting. You know, you're talking about you knocked him out. He said go ahead and put out the tape, and they're actually going to fight. So to me, that's the difference. They're actually going to fight. I mean, there are similarities. He is using the same defense, but he's got a point. Put out the motherfucking tape, dog. And either way, the fight's gonna happen before you can put out the tape. The fight is literally tomorrow. It doesn't matter what happened. It doesn't matter what happened in the sparring tape. We really don't need to see the fucking full tape. Who cares? You got dropped. Who cares? It's sparring. I'm sure if you went through all the hours of footage, there's videos of everybody in every camp probably getting dropped at least once. I know someone's gonna say, oh, I've never been dropped. I don't give a fuck. You're the fucking rare exception. But people get dropped in sparring. It's training. I'm not excited about that unless it's a clean knockout. And either way, the fight's coming. It doesn't really matter. Whoever knocked who out, whoever got the best of who in sparring every day, none of that matters. Everybody's grown since then. TJ Dillashaw's left the camp. He's learned new things. I'm sure Alpha Male's changed up their training. Hopefully, you don't want TJ Dillashaw to know your entire game plan. Hopefully they've changed up some of the things they're doing over there, and everybody's grown since then. So whatever happened years ago in sparring, whether it was a knockdown or a knockout, the fight is tomorrow, and that's gonna let us know who's the better man as of today. I mean, it's 2017, motherfucker. That video, look, and it's grainy as hell, man. And that's another thing. That's another difference between the Conor Paulie. The Conor Paulie video wasn't this fucking grainy. So of course we want to see. We don't even know 100% that was TJ Dillashaw. You could have had one of your alpha male buddies that worked out with TJ Dillashaw put on the TJ Dillashaw stance. You know what I'm saying? They could have just put on headgear and been training like they were TJ Dillashaw. And you got a grainy ass camera. We don't know that was TJ 100%. Paulie, we seen that nigga. We know that was motherfucking Paulie. So, you know what I'm saying? There's other reasons for TJ to want you to put out the full tape. So, I mean, It is what it is, though. It really don't matter. The fight is tomorrow. UFC 217. Michael Bisping versus George St. Pierre. Cody Garbrandt versus TJ Dillashaw. Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Rose Namajunas. 3 title fights. Madison Square Garden. Jorge Gamebred Masvidal versus Steven Wonderboy Thompson. What the fuck you talking about? Not to mention Johnny Hendricks, who made weight, versus Paulo Baracci. Now, he's trying to change his name. I think that means the eraser, but you get the point. That's just the main card. Mickey Gall's coming back. He's fighting Randy Brown. We got other people on the card. Curtis Blades is fighting somebody. Corey Anderson versus OSP. Corey Blades is fighting like Daniel Omlinchuk maybe, or something else. Omlinchuk. Fucking card is stacked, dog. It is what it is. Let the full-time family know what the fuck you talking about in the comments. I'm out.
Bye, Felicia.